viewers, and welcome to another episode of Lancer Custom Werks, where I will be discussing the various mech builds you could make and play with Lancer. Hydra, practically an army on its own. Like Caliban, Lich, Raleigh, and many other niche frames, Hydra focuses very hard on an aspect of Lancer and makes it part of its identity, in this case, drones, and deployable I guess. With Drone Commander 1, Hydra's drone has 15 total health, which is ridiculous, because unless you put all skill points into hull, your mech has less health than the drone at license level 2, not only that, with Shepherd Field, these drones and deployable also get damage resistance, making them way tougher than you. Heck, Hydra basically cannot live without Drone Commander. Not only does it make your drone tougher, you can deal more damage by consuming lock-on, and you can give almost all your allies overshield and deal damage to enemy at the same time with a single quick action. A properly piloted Hydra can unleash some Galaxy Brain Grand strategies, helped by the fact that its core passive and core power are just more bloody drones for some ludicrous Swiss Army knife tactical flexibility, no matter if it's protecting your allies, snaring, shredding, or locking onto an enemy. Unfortunately, you also need a Galaxy Brain to pilot it, because otherwise all the micromanagement of the drones is gonna drive you and the GM insane. So basically, you probably don't want to use Hydra as your first mech unless you have prior experience with tabletop RPG and extensive knowledge with Lancer. But on its own, Hydra can take care of itself with its decent set of stats, maybe besides the kind of bad evasion, but it only has an average 10 sensor, which means Hydra can't deploy its army of drones far away from it, you have to fight with them. In the following 40 Hydra builds, you will find frequent uses of Tempest drones, to pinball people around, Puppet Master, to move your drone around, double movement with Drone Commander 1, or zap anyone around them, Assassin Drone, because who doesn't like more area denial, and Gassed Nexus, because a smart gun that can fly off on its own with 2 armor and 15 health max is just absurd, double as additional target for the enemy to shoot at too. Remember, drones get repaired for free if they aren't destroyed, but your health needs repair to be replenished. In short, drones are always more expendable than you are. As for the roles, since Hydra loves to have drones around, I classified all of them as controller primarily, with controller striker taking up the majority, followed by support, because there's plenty of drones capable of supporting allies, then defender and artillery in just about the same percentage. Anyway, I might as well go with the controller striker builds first. This is Botnet, a very standard Hydra with a bunch of drones, a bunch of Nexuses, and a bunch of invade systems. This build has Hive to hide around, Sentinel to keep enemy from attacking without consequences, and Tempest to act as bouncer, and with DC 1 plus Puppet Master, these drones can move 8 spaces per turn. Worse, you can use invade on your drone harmlessly because they count as allied character, so use Beckoner to pull hostile in, then use viral logic to keep them from moving. Any hostile that dare to move inside your sensor range is going to get stuck in hell, and I haven't even mentioned the truly annoying power of all the Senti main with open door. Everything is pain. Here's Hydra. Basically, the game plan is to deploy Hive drones and have Hydra hide in it to never get hit, then throw out the ridiculous amount of Sentinel drones, because guess what, they only deal damage if the enemy attack on their turn, so by the time you become unhidden, they have already spent their attack. And if you want bigger damage, you can use Beckoner to pull enemies in before using Annihilation Nexus to grind them all up. This build would have been so much better with Infiltrator though, but Technophile Black Thumb combo can patch your mech up nicely. And yes, I have received a lot of Annihilation Nexus Hydra builds. This is Wasp Nest, a half-kid Hydra with omnibus plate that can make distant drone a lot tougher with wider effect radius. Putting an assassin drone on it would make a blast 3 wide denial zone, and with Horus 1, this Hydra can make people walk right into the pain zone. With Blackspot, not only does it give lock-on which combo well with Drone Commander 2 and Senti main, it also gives +1 accuracy to attack made by drone or Nexus, which Hydra is frequently equipped with. Let's just say this is not the only Hydra build with Blackspot around, and of course, it makes Annihilation Nexus a lot more painful. Turret drones for extra damage also help. You can always get more charges with Grease Monkey too. Here's another Annihilation Nexus build, one that also turn goddamn invisible and freaking fly, with Infiltrator to aid in hiding, and guess what, moving your drone don't break hiding, so you can just move them besides an enemy and just annihilate them. Senti main and Infiltrator can inflict a ton of conditions together. Infiltrator 3 even let you escape for another hit and run. This is make your GM play Pinball, an ASURA Annihilation Nexus Hydra with a ton of Tempest drones. So here's an additional thing about Tempest drones, see here, it doesn't need a reaction to activate its effect, meaning if an enemy get pushed into the zone involuntarily, Tempest does not give a shit. And with ASURA, this Hydra can in fact deploy all 4 of its drones in a single turn, and by placing them correctly, it can really turn the battlefield into a gigantic pinball machine, which is just hilarious. These build names are getting rather hostile. Basically, you use Ferrous Lash to yeet enemies into a Tempest drone to bounce them around, preferably right into Assassin drone's effect zone, or goddamn Havoc Mine to burn them. Since you won't be moving much, you might as well get Spotter to throw lock on everywhere for DC2, and while I was confused by Autocooler initially, I realized this build has 11 heat cap, just enough for max overcharge heat cost, so you can do that every turn and just throw more shit everywhere, including the Nexus this build has. But you know what, let's actually bring something even more close-ranged. This is Spider's Web, a Hydra that's more focused on beating the shit out of its enemy with its blades. Gyges' Nanocarbon sword with Executioner is always good, especially after you grappled someone to get more benefits from Brawler, synthetic muscle netting, and TSS2. TSS1 also provides some covers and let you have the satisfaction of throwing a goddamn rock at someone. Oh yeah, it also has a Tempest drone, so anyone too far for its sword is going to get knocked around. Dream of the place I will never let you into is a Thinking Tomorrow thought hack and slash Hydra, using Metafold Carver to pull them in, aggressive system sync to punish them for leaving you alone, and up close, other than the charged blade, you have Swarm Body to slowly grind them up, Scanner Swarm to hack even better, and Hive Drone to both defend you and carve them up, with an addition of Tempest Drone to make sure your victim can't get away. My only question is, why are you using a charged blade when TTT already makes sure your damage can't be reduced? Honestly, Tempest Drone is just really good at isolating an enemy. This is Baron Zima Never Fights Alone, which uses its drone to isolate a target, then cut them apart with the power of anime. Held Image gives plenty of free lock-on, and Kai Bioplating allows this Hydra leaps anywhere it wants. This is the mech of bees and honey, a goddamn combat drill Hydra because fuck your existence, you are going to die. Vlad system hurts, and generally immobilizes the enemy, like Web Jaw Snare, Caltrip Launcher, and Charged Stake, but it's even better if you have something to knock people into them, like Tempest Drone. Then, when they are immobilized, you send them to their grave. This is Weisel, a Seekomet Hydra, how terrifying. With Seekomet on, you are a powerful melee combatant, but it also controls all your available actions. That however doesn't mean you can't use Drone Commander 1 to move the drone and lure it because it's a protocol, and when an enemy is in your sensor range, you have a Tempest drone, you know what to do at this point. Also, Mimic Mesh helps gives additional mobility to your allies in danger, but I think Speed 6 gives a lot of mobility already. And finally, this is Darut D Nano Swarm, a TTT hack and slash Hydra that like to suck enemies in with Nanobot Whip or Horus 1, then grind them up with Swarm Body, while having dual Tempest drones and full exemplar talent to keep them there. It is just painful. And that's all on the controller Striker Hydra. All of them brings in their unique blend of irritation and pain on anyone that dares to even step inside their sensor range. A good Hydra pilot is seriously a bloody nightmare to face on a battlefield. Anyway, let's turn some of that offensive energy to a more supportive one, as we are diving into the controller support builds. This is Spambot, a support Hydra with Blackspot providing accuracy, Heavy Gunner Gassed Nexus to lock down enemies, with Lotus Projector to uncover hidden enemies, Pepcock for tech support, Fobby Mod so allies can deal with any defense, and of course, Tempest to keep unwanted things away. Heck, even without these tools, any Hydra with Drone Commander 3 fits the support role already. Being able to give possibly all of your allies 4 overshield for just a single quick action is extremely helpful. This is
I solve practical problems.
Another support Hydra that takes some parts from Kid, which has Held Image, Spotter, and Blackspot, to throw a fuck ton of lock-on around. None of your allies are ever going to miss their shots, or at least miss less often. With Forge 2 squads, this Hydra can build plenty of support emplacement, and by sticking besides them, these emplacement have effectively double the health thanks to Shepherd Field. Having some assassin drones for area denial won't hurt either. You'd Kill Me in a Fair Fight is a Hydra that never fight fair. You might notice that this Hydra has full drone commander talent but has no drone, but remember, Hydra core passive gives it a drone of its own, and it's quite powerful. Anyway, with Ferrous Lash, you can throw enemy onto the PCP to lock them down, and with Exemplar, your victim can never leave you alone. Also, you have Blink Space Tunneler, so anywhere you go, your allies can quickly follow you, and with Blink charges, you can move people anywhere you like. This is Omniscient Beehive, a Hydra that does not want to get surprised ever again, so it has like 3 goddamn Lotus projector to uncover any hidden or invisible enemies, on top of having Athena to see through literally any disguise and cover, while also having Held Image, Spotter, and Marker Light to throw out even more lock-on. This Hydra can basically see into the infinity, and it's drone all the way down. Here's Mastermind, a very normal Hydra that supports its allies with Held Image, Spotter, and Leader to give plenty of accuracy, with Beckoner, Horus 1, and its army of drones to provide a ton of shenanigans and even more support to allies. And finally, this is a parent and its children, a flying support Hydra with Lotus to see everything in its radius, Ice Out to keep allies from ever being hacked, plus Magnetic Cannon, Ferrous Lash, and Siege Specialist to move enemies however you like. Heavy Gunner Ghast Nexus is just good at locking down enemies, and so are Tempest drones. And that's it for the controller support Hydra. It's just surprisingly good at this role even unintentionally. Having enough drones truly does solve any potential problems you could face in the battlefield. Next up, the controller artillery builds. This is the Knight and Squire. The Knight is obviously the Hydra with a big bolt thrower, and the Squire is the auto-loader drone, which can now move thanks to DC-1. With Nuclear Cavalier, Roland Chamber, and OP Caliber, that bolt thrower can throw out 6d6 damage every turn thanks to the auto-loader drone. If things are too far, you have Mortar for range 15 hit. If things are too close, you have Tempest drones to deal with it. Traditional Hunting Party is another Hydra that like to have auto-loader drone around to quick load its massive Cyclone Pulse rifle, with Crackshot and Siege Stabilizer for some long-range sniping action. Anything that wants to get close to you would have to go through firing fields set up by the Assassin drones, while you are still protected by the Hive drone. I'd rather you stayed right there. Is a Pinaka Missile Hydra, that likes to use Hive, Tempest, and Hydra Snare drones to corner the enemy so they get bombarded to hell, with Trolloc to make sure those missiles really do hit, and with Stormbringer, the missile can knock them right into a row of Javelin or Sentinel for more damage. Lastly, this is AFK, a Hydra with dual autogun so it can spend more actions on something else, like firing its Mimic gun, or when it's not cooperating, use Sisyphus to manipulate probability, or throw more drones around. Either way, you will be doing damage every turn with this build. And that's for the controller artillery Hydra. Its sensor range might not let it put drones everywhere on the map, but it can definitely use them to keep it safe while it blasts far away hostile apart with its guns. And finally, let's talk about the controller defender Hydra. This is in the middle of our house, a half-Drake Hydra with a supermassive Leviathan heavy assault cannon to kill anything that dares to get close to the bunker, the portable bunker that actually has 90 effective health thanks to Hydra if it stays inside. The only thing that can destroy the bunker in one shot is a full-powered Apocalypse Rail from Barbarossa. Everything else has to chip through it, and with Aegis for more protection and Tempest to kick unwanted people out, this is probably one of the most secure portable bunker you could get. Dorn's fortified personal servitor generator pretty much run on the same principle, but with concussion missiles to kick people out, and Argonaut shield to provide protection even outside of the bunker. Bonded helps a lot with the right ally too. The break room has Apple Juice and Vengeful Fiery Bees uses Noah and Enclave support shield for defense instead, allow for a more mobile defensive measures with Hive and Tempest for even more protection. Free lock-on from Held Image helps too, and not being able to be impaired thanks to SBD is pretty good. And finally, there's Toxic Work Environment, alternatively named Blizzard or Activision, a Hydra that likes to stick besides their allies with a barrier of drone to protect them, and if that fails, there's Scorpion to dare anyone to hack both of you and Vorpal Gun to punish anyone that shoots at your buddy, with Heavy Gunner Ghast Nexus for all the suppressive fire and Held Image for all the free lock-on. And that's all for the controller defender Hydra builds. Even without all these fancy systems for fancy defensive tricks, remember one thing: if the enemy shoots at your drones, that's good news, because they aren't shooting at your allies, and you just did your job. Now that I think about it, this does mean that Hydra can function as a controller, support, and defender simultaneously with basically any builds as long as it has drone commander talent. Talk about having the tactical flexibility of a Swiss Army knife. Anyway, that's all 40 Hydra builds reviewed. Once again, I would like to thank everyone that have submitted their builds for this episode, even those that didn't get in the video itself. To tell you the truth, I'm not really a fan of Hydra because, well, what else can you do with it besides drones? Turns out there's a lot you can do with it, including the drones. and this definitely rekindles my feeling for the mech like a bonfire. Now then, let's introduce the topic for the next episode, and we are going to have a wild one. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.